Hello.
Oh, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, good. Oh,
How's it going?
what a day. Oh, what a day. It's good news. One of my old clients has asked me to do some recruiting for them, but it's an urgent fill.
Oh,
So I thought I was busy enough as it is, but of course, then you have to advertise a job. Then you've got to be doing all these telephone interviews. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to fit that in? Anyway, I've done 4 telephone interviews.
oh, okay, good. Well, that's good.
Stress levels are like, oh my God.
That's something
Anyway,
well, we've got 3 registered, and I think we're probably going to have about 5 people because we've got another 2. So you
excellent.
are a record, you and Elise. There were so many of my programs which the first overview, nobody, it took a while. So it's good to just have somebody
Well,
on
I
the.
had a lady, there was a lady from the UK, and she said she was interested. I don't know whether she's registered, and you're going to ask me her name, aren't you? I can't remember what her name is.
Oh,
Catherine, I think.
okay. Okay, you already have one already in the waiting room. Talk about enthusiastic, but we'll let them wait.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh, I need
ready
to give
yet.
you access to be able to do your presentation, okay? Multiple access. And there was one lady asked a question, and believe it or not, she's a clinical psychologist. This clinical psychologist thing you're asking, you shall receive, huh? I've just got clinical psychologists coming out of the window because I just think there's such an opportunity for a program on helping young people think about relationships, whether you're married or particularly that before you get married, or particularly that first couple of years of getting married, because young people are just, there's too many of them that I know that's just going in and out of marriages like there's no tomorrow.
Gosh.
But they really have not been given the skill of truly appreciating and understanding
Power on.
BT. What the what it entails to have relationships. So yeah.
Entails hard work, perseverance, patience.
Yeah. Well, the very things they don't know about. The very things they don't know
From my
about it. But
husband.
it's also getting it right, so I was married for 10 years and then single for 6 years, and then never to even think about marrying again. And then met my wife, who I've been married to for 10 years now, and married her proposed within 3 months and married within 6. People thought I
Good
was
grief.
nuts.
Did you
I
just
know.
know she was the one, though?
Oh, just date one. As a matter of fact, it took 3 months simply because I had to meet her parents, and they were based in Cape Town. Otherwise, I'd have proposed in the next date.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it's been amazing.
Crikey.
Massive contrast to.
Oh.
I wanted to. There's a lady who coming on who asked some questions, and I'm trying to remember. Networking. There we go. Would it be possible, if possible, to Alison be able to touch on the following topics? How to put together an elevator pitch. I just said to her, these topics are the topics that are within the program, but she will give you a bit of an indication of what it takes. Apart from LinkedIn, are there any other network specific platforms out there? Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
You have 3 people in the waiting room already. They're keen.
Oh, they're super keen. I need to practice sharing my screen, but I've just tried and I can't find my document. Hang on. I normally go
No
share
problem.
screen.
There's still 10 minutes. There's plenty of time. Normally what we do is we give an extra, what I normally, you'll see the times are very strange. There's sometimes like 10 minutes, like 5:30 to 6:40. we use the 10 minutes just to let people in and blah 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 and this, that, and the other. So
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, we've got the sort of
I don't know why I
an
can't
hour
find
plus
it.
that little bit.
We've got screen. Okay.
Is it a PowerPoint? Is it up?
Oh, where is it? Yeah. No, I closed it down. Shall I open it back up?
Yeah, that's probably why you can't see it when you're trying to share.
Now, how many times I've done this? And it's worked. Oh, there we go. I can share it or not share it, but I just wanted you to have a quick look. So
Cool.
I haven't put any branding on there. So I've got welcome overview. I thought I'd just touch on 3 things because I can talk about those 3 things. There's a lot of content within those 3 things, but I can just dip in and out. Why is that? Oh, I know, I haven't got it as a slideshow. And then I've got program content. I didn't know whether you wanted me to show that or not.
Sorry, there's somebody who's very keen to come in. I'm going to say we'll let you in soon because it is supposed to start at 5:30.
Do you want that to be shown or not?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can just give like a few seconds on each of those. Yeah, that's
well, I wasn't going to talk about those in the overview because there's too much there. But I was going to say, so that's the overview that I'm talking about today. A few minutes on my background and why, you know, and how we've come to collaborate and things like that. And then sort of 10 minutes on the power of networking, 10 minutes on the importance of your 60-second elevator pitch. You know, what is it? It's about storytelling, blah, blah, blah. And then 5 minutes on fears and barriers to networking, and that takes me to 30 minutes.
Sure. What would be nice, I think, about that other slide is so that they have an indication of what the program will actually entail. And I can, you know, you can just say, you know, that would be the program. And then I can just once you've done that, give them, you know, a sense of the cost of the program, when we're intending to start, and yeah, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay, you've got the dates of you because I've literally closed all my programs down so I don't get disturbed.
Yeah, I think we said the 7th of January, but what I'll tell them it's provisional, but we will get back. We have their details. If they're keen, we will get back to them with a start date in January, but we're presuming that, you know, we'll start in January. Look, if they all put their hands up and say start now, then you and I can debate whether or not. I think it's going to be an interesting festive period because I think people are caught between, oh, I really need the damn rest, with, oh my goodness, what's coming kind of scenario, you know?
Yeah, kind of caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, really, aren't we?
Yeah, because you know, it's not as predictable next year as we were, you know, we would take a month, 3 weeks holiday, off we go, you know, knowing that when we come back, everything will be cool. But now things are a little different. So
I've never experienced 3 weeks holiday in my life.
It's, why do they think it's 5 o'clock? It's 5:30. No, it's.
Yeah, I gave a presentation yesterday, or I was just asked to do a 10-minute slot at a women's business forum for the Chamber of Commerce. And then I did mention that, you know, through networking and connections, I'm launching a program in collaboration with you. And a few people said, oh, what's that all about? So the organizer of the event, she said, oh, give me the details. And she emailed out a thank you to everybody like she does. And she put the details and the link in for everybody to have a look at it. I thought, oh my God, thank you. That was really kind.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I think you and I have got a good idea here. There's another program I think I was telling you about that I've started as well. And we had the overview on Monday, and that's retrenchment and job uncertainty. And a lady called Elise is running with that. But she's kind of keen to get going in December. And I understand retrenchment's one of those things that you know, people want to get that want to get going with. But I think what we have the advantage of is having 2 more of these overviews, which I think will, you know, I want to, particularly over the period of December, market it quite extensively, because the more I learn, particularly from you, the more I realize this is so relevant for so many people. But, you know, there's some fears I need to get over. So yeah, I mean, my wife doesn't need this course. She's like, she's Miss Networker of note. She loves
Is
working
she?
rooms. She's a hunter. She has no qualms chasing business. She's half an embarrassment half the time. You know, we'd go to a conference or something, you know, and I just find a little corner and sit there, and she's like, right, I'm out, where are my cards, off we go. And she does. And she's like, oh. But the thing is, she's built, talk about networks. She has built such a huge network. She's the, you know, in her companies where she works, she's like really revered around the relationships that she's established. And she's managed to use those relationships for personal things, right? So, you know, I think her brothers one time who was starting a business was looking for funders, used the network for that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So she's, you know, and when we have our women events, probably about 30%, 40% of the people attend are all the people that she's been saying, hey, attend this event, attend this event. So yeah,
Brilliant.
she's going to be.
So she'll be saying to you, Vic Ella, or Vic, I never know which one to call you. Vic, why have you never listened to me before? Why have you now start taking notice of a stranger from another country? And I've told you what to do.
Exactly.
Oh,
All right.
I must meet her one day. Maybe we can have a Zoom one day.
No,
She
we'll do
lovely.
that.
Yeah,
I'll
she
do that
lovely.
for sure. I'll do that for sure. Shall I let these folks in? There's two.
Yeah, so what are you going to, just quick whistle. So you're going to do your bit.
Oh,
and
I'll
then
introduce you.
Me.
Yeah,
I'll do my
I'm
bit
gonna
and
start,
back to you.
Introduce you, hand over to you, and then you can take over.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Ready?
And then as people come in, I'll just tell them to just give it a few more minutes, and then let me go into here.
Yeah, sure.
Admit.
Hi, Catherine.
Hey, there's Ralph.
There's Ralph.
Hey, Manadia.
How are you guys?
Hello, Manadia.
All right. Hey, your name is on your phone.
I changed it. I did. I saw it was not a good idea.
How you guys?
Hi, Ralph.
Okay.
Good. Nice to see you guys. It's been
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. We'll give it a. You're the early birds.
Is it
so
mine?
Give it another 5 minutes and just
perfect.
join in.
Good. I'm gonna go off. I'm just gonna go off video until the guys join. I'll catch you guys shortly.
Okay, super.
That's fine. No problem. No problem.
I'm delighted. I was networking with Catherine yesterday at the Women's Business Forum in the local area in the UK. So I'm really delighted that Catherine could come on here today. So
there you go. There you go. Networking does work.
It does.
I just want to send this email.
Yeah, I must say I've been quite excited to get onto your networking program and just see how I can up my game a little bit.
Oh, Ralph, it's lovely to have you here. Did you have a nice breakfast this morning?
Oh, it was lovely. Thank you. It was just 5 of us, but it was absolutely very special.
No, look, it was worth it. I mean, I think if there were a few of you who were there and were, I mean, I'd have joined. It's just I live in Ramsar. The moment you guys started saying, "Oh, we'll meet up," I was like, "Okay, that's a 45-minute trip."
Oh, is it?
By the time you get there, breakfast is over. Yeah, I'm a bit far.
I'm literally going to go offline for about 3 minutes and I'm going to join up again, if that's okay with you guys. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
I heard a lovely England accent over there.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Alison is not around the corner in Boxburg.
Nope.
which is a little
I'm in
town
the
up
not
here.
so sunny UK.
Yeah. Hey, Austin. You see, I've got family
Do I
members
have
on
to?
as well.
Hello.
Hey, Austin, how you do?
Good, on yourself?
I'm calling you Austin, not Sifa, because it's coming up as Austin. So
It's fine.
Hi, Mashatsi.
Oh, hi, Mashati.
I think we had a valuepreneur session on, and he was on earlier, but he's got network issues, so
Okay,
Oh,
shame.
okay.
Okay, I'm now fully online with you guys.
cool. Great. Yeah, there he's fallen off again. Yeah, it's got network issues with it. There's a storm out here, Alison. So
Oh, is
it's a
that?
pretty
Okay.
yeah, it's a pretty
There's a
hectic one.
huge storm.
Oh gosh. Was it a predicted one?
Yes.
Yeah, it was coming.
Right.
But it's massive. So there are a couple I know, though. I was having a session earlier on with a couple of guys who were falling on and off. So you may have that that challenge. Matsudiso, hello. So we've got a couple of people from the
Hopefully they'll catch.
Value Add program as well, which is cool. And Tobago who's on as well.
Hello.
How's it?
Excellent. It was me thinking you were basking in sunshine the whole time. Getting very jealous.
Still in shorts and t-shirts,
Oh, look at that.
but not quite basking in the sunshine today. Actually, we're preferring it like this. It's been hotter. Jeez, it's ridiculous.
Is it?
It's been quite hectic. Hi, Stacy. Good to see you again.
Well, I'm quite warm, but I've got my central heating on. Got my radiator on next to me.
That's good.
Okay, let's give it another 3 minutes and just make sure everybody's on board.
So I've just my wife had some friends just coming over at 5:30 because she's Ubering off now somewhere else. So I just had to quickly say hello to everyone. But now I've told them I am dedicated to this program for the next however long it is.
Thank you, Rolf. You're a good
Thank you, Rolf.
supporter.
So I think, well, gee, we have a crowd. So I think we maybe shall we start?
Yeah, let's start.
Alison,
Is everybody
let's
ready?
Let's
Yeah?
start. Anyone else who
Yeah.
comes will join in. We've given them 3 minutes
Exactly.
extra time. So we'll kick off. So I think other than Catherine, I think everybody here I know. So welcome everybody. Welcome Catherine. Nice to meet you. My name is Vikela Rankin, and I'm the founder of Value Ed, together with some co-founders. I think they'll join maybe a little later. They haven't joined. So I'm really excited about this, and I'd really like to begin by thanking Alison, who I'll introduce just now, for venturing on this journey together. And it's really come about as a result of a couple of things. The one is that Ralph, myself, and Alison are together on a board called Next Level, which we meet every Friday, and we had the privilege of meeting Alison, who joined a few weeks ago. And when she came and joined and talked about the skill that she has in networking, I was interested. My ear perked up a little bit. Then when she started talking in detail about the capability of networking, I was totally fascinated and hooked. And I was hooked because I think it's so essential, not just for business, but for just general life. And what I didn't realize, well, maybe took for granted, was the level of skill that is required to be it. We all just assume that we can make friends and it's as simple as that. But yet there is a very strong skill, let alone art, behind networking. And I thought, wow, wouldn't this be useful for a program within the context? So Alison Holmes, for those of you who think Alison's around the corner at Santon, no, she's not. She's actually from and in the UK right now, and coming and beaming through our Zoom screens from the UK. I'd like to say welcome and thank you for joining us. Alison has 25 years experience in this, and I'm going to hand over to her to just tell her story about how she started, talk a little bit about what the program is going to entail, and then I'll end off to give you a little bit more information. But without further ado, you don't want to hear from me, who's got zero networking skills at all. I'm going to hand over to you, Alison, and say thank you for coming on board and giving this overview about the program that you and I are going to be part of into the future.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Vikella. I am absolutely really excited to be here. I can't think of the right words to talk about my excitement to be collaborating with Vikella, being in your space over here. And there's a lovely lady who was networking with me in the UK yesterday called Catherine, and Catherine is joining us from the UK as well today. So welcome to Catherine, and lovely to meet you all. Yeah, it's really exciting. So what I'm going to do is give you an overview of the program. I was going to share my screen, wasn't I? Talk a bit about my background and how I actually got to this point. So I just want to say that actually I hated networking, and I was absolutely rubbish at it. I have made literally every mistake you can think of. It all started, I was working in my father's business doing graphic design and printing. I didn't know what to do with my life, and I wanted to join the Navy, and they said, oh no, that's no place for a lady. So I didn't join, and I went to work for him instead. And I was confident in my little office with my clients coming in, but actually the business bank manager said to my father, Alison should go out networking because you need more sales. So you didn't say no to my dad. And I thought, I don't want to go networking. I'm not a salesperson. Why would I go networking? And I'm showing my age now. It was in the age before the internet. So we had to go to the library to look at what networking was. That's how old I am. So I had no idea what I was doing. So I went along to a breakfast meeting in my suit. I had a trouser suit because that was the fashion, armed with my business cards. And I sat in the car and I watched all these professional men going in their suits. And I worked with men in overalls on the printing presses. That bit didn't bother me, but they were men in suits. So obviously they were really intelligent. They knew everything about life and I knew nothing. And I was really scared. I didn't want to go in. But I'm not a very good liar. And I thought, I'm going to have to go in because I've got to say I've been there and collect some business cards. So I went in, tried to sell my services to bank managers who were never going to want me to do their printing, solicitors who weren't really interested in what I had to say because I was trying to sell to them. And then we got to the elevator pitch. What was that? And we were in a beautiful theatre in our local town. And she said, oh, we're going to do it on a microphone. So here's the microphone and do your 60-second elevator pitch. I thought, oh my God, what is this? I don't do public speaking. I was the girl at the back of the class who had her long bob in front of her face so the teacher couldn't see her. Oh, I felt sick. I was shaking. So I flicked my hair down. I had long hair. I thought, right, don't look at me. It's like being back at school. I want to go last because I'm going to copy everybody else. That was a really stupid thing, wasn't it? Because they didn't do what I did. And I got on, when I had the microphone, I got on the microphone and my hand literally was shaking. My voice was shaking. I don't even know what I said. I thought the faster I speak, the quicker I can sit down. This is awful. Why does anybody want to put themselves through this horrible experience? It was awful. It was yes, anyway. So obviously my my thoughts on networking were, I'm never going back there again. So I went back to work, and because I'd made it such a drama at work about going, honestly, oh, what was it like? You know, I was like, oh, we won't get business there. It's not the right place for us. So obviously I could lie a little bit, couldn't I? Although I was being genuine because I didn't think it worked. So that was that. Game over. Roll on 18 months. I had grown up a little bit by then. I got a little bit more confident, and we still needed more sales. Why can't we just employ a sales rep? Why do I have to go? But I thought, do you know what? I quite fancy getting out of the office. I'm a bit bored.
Is that me or Alison? Oh, shucks. Could be me. Eek. What's happened there now?
A captive audience of 20, 30, 40 people. So I kind of learned as I went along. And I went to my local Chamber of Commerce. They had loads of events, and I got quite well known there. They all got to know me, and they would then phone me up and say, Alison, we've got a new person coming who's really nervous. Will you look after them? I was like, oh yes, I'll look after them. I'll teach them everything I've learned, and this will be the way forward. So I have always taught people how to network, but I haven't always worked in the print industry. Very sadly, we had to close the business down. I've been there 20 years. I went to work for my son's friend's dad selling linen. Okay, so by this time I was a managing director of pull on resources left, right and centre. Sadly, when we closed the business down, my confidence took a real knock at rock bottom, but I found my staff job, so I was really pleased about that. So I went to work for this linen company selling duvets and pillows and sheets, which I had no idea what I was doing. But I thought, I'm too bruised, I can't go back into my old world. And I ended up being a sales rep on the road in the UK. Oh, that taught me quite a few lessons. But the biggest lesson it taught me was I had zero network. I literally knew nobody, and it was so hard. I had no support network. I had no contacts to talk to. I had nobody in that world that I could ask their advice. We were a small business. The boss was, he was nice enough, but he was quite dogmatic. And if you asked a question, he kind of shot you down in flames. So I didn't feel confident to talk to him. So I built up a new network, and I sold £100,000 in my first year. I was really pleased, but it was not the life for me. I was not a sales rep on the road. Then I worked in a recruitment agency for 5 years, where I learned the psychometrics. But this isn't about me, but I just wanted to paint a picture for you because I finally found my purpose. I have my own business. I set it up 2 years ago. Within the first month of having my own business, I generated 5 new clients. Yes, I had networked with them before. They had not come to the business I was working at. But when I went on my own, they said, we need you now. Now, if I didn't have that network around me, absolutely no way I could have started doing my business as quickly as I did. So this is my purpose, is to help you understand how important it is to have a network around you. And that's what I want to talk to you about. This program, I was going to say amazing program. I think it is going to be amazing because there's so many skills to be learned through this program. So I was going to share my screen, wasn't I? This is it. Go off on a tangent. Here we go. Right, I'll just share my screen with you. So one slide show. There we go. So first of all, I want to talk about the power of networking. Okay. So everybody's perception of networking is you go networking to get sales. Yes, absolutely. I do agree with that. It is the purpose of networking. But also there's far more to it than that. Okay. This is about building up a know, like, and trusted community around you. Because ultimately, this community are going to get to know you. They're going to get to know your business. But you need to be genuine. It's your business, your voice, your authenticity, which is going to come through. Yes, you need to be professional, but you need to be yourself. We all know people buy from people. Even with our competitors in the room, if our competitors are cheaper, doesn't necessarily mean somebody's going to go to them if they prefer you. They will have a conversation with you. So it's this community building up behind the scenes. You get to know about them, they get to know about you. And then ultimately, they are going to be your biggest ambassadors. They are going to give you referrals. They're going to talk about you, your passion for your role, the difference that you make to your clients. It just has a knock-on effect in this community around you. The other really important thing, and this has been, everybody needs it, especially in COVID, is the support mechanism that it goes on in your community. Now, I know we have our church community, we have our social gyms, golf courses, you know, we have all these other communities, but the power of your business community, they can tell you about funding projects that are coming along. They can tell you about schemes. They can tell you about bids that are going on in your area. They can give you sector information, both locally, regionally, and nationally. They are your eyes and ears on the ground. You know, they have got information. Their clients are dealing maybe in sectors that you would like to go into. So they are your eyes and ears without even realizing it. And you are theirs. This is a 50-50 situation here. This is not all about take. This is about giving as well. Where's a little book? Where's that little book gone? Oh, it's on the floor. Sorry. The Go Giver is a really easy little book to read. I'll let Michaela know about it. It's about giving and listening. But also having a good business community around you helps, maybe not you find a job, but somebody in your community who is looking for a job. It's a brilliant route to market. When I worked in the recruitment agency and I went networking, I was always standing up saying, I've got an amazing job. If you know anybody who's an IT manager or something like that, I had 40 people in the room who were out looking for an IT manager, because everybody knows somebody looking for a job, don't they? It's all about collaboration as well. Hey, look, if I hadn't been networking, I met somebody who invited me to talk, I met Tony, I never would have met Michaela and Rolf. Networking, you just don't know where it's going to take you. And there literally are no boundaries anymore, are there? Look, I'm here from the UK, beaming into you. Also, it's about adding value. And this is what I go deep on in the program. It's about adding value to your community. So when we do the 60-second elevator pitch, and I will touch on that in a minute, but when we do the 60-second elevator pitch, this is your shop window. But in that pitch, you can also talk about your what's going on in your sector. You know, what's happening with, I'm talking about VAT. I don't know if you've got VAT over there. Tax, you know, all these sorts of things that are going on that actually, whatever your speciality is, your expertise, you can put that into your 60 seconds. You can add that value to the room. So when you're there networking, whether it's physically or virtually, when you're in that room, people are going to say, oh, you need to talk to Rolf. He knows everything about that. Or you need to see Catherine. She's the expert on that. And it's getting yourself known in that community for giving. And yes, sometimes we have to give things for complimentary. We don't say free, it's complimentary. We give things for complimentary because we genuinely want to help and make a difference. But yes, this is part of your pipeline. Obviously, you know, we've got sales. If we don't make sales, we have no business. But this is part of your pipeline as well. It's really important. Because I don't know about you, if you're on LinkedIn and somebody requests a LinkedIn with me, have a little look and think, oh yes, they look quite interesting, let's link in. Then all of a sudden I get, so I accept it, and then I get a really long sales pitch. I'm like, oh no, you need to build a bit of a relationship first before you start selling to me. You know, that's just me, you know. I don't think it works particularly well, but hey ho, you know, I try and help where I can, but not everybody is receptive to hearing it. But there's other places you can network. You know, if you're going to a conference online or a webinar, or there's some sort of training that you're going to, at these places, wherever you're going to be, you're not there to sell, obviously, but haha, you can build some really good connections there. Just get chatting to the people in the room, because you've all got a common purpose for being there, and that's to learn. And if you keep in touch with them, if genuinely you want to keep in touch with them, I never say just do it because you want the sale out of them. Think of genuine reasons why you can help them, because you need to get to know them first before you can then start trying to give them a solution, because actually they might not need your solution to their problem. You just don't know. This is why you need to find out what's going on, really. So there's lots of different reasons for the power of networking. And in the program, I go quite deep on those. I talk about how you're going to add value. And this is what I do. I have one-to-one coaching clients as well. And we look at what they do. And some of them say, I'm a bookkeeper. It's a really boring job. How on earth can I do a 60-second pitch? Because everybody thinks it's boring. Well, you know, if you think it's boring, then nobody else is going to think it's exciting, is it? You need to find the story there. There's always a really amazing story of how you provide a solution for your clients. And if you start off your 60-second pitch going, hey, I'm so-and-so, actually my job's a bit boring, but I'll tell you what it is anyway, you're giving those people permission to switch off. Don't do it. Why would you do that? I've seen it all. I made the mistakes myself. So I can talk from personal experience as well. So now I want to talk about your 60-second elevator pitch, because I go really deep on this. You know, when I'm one-to-one coaching, this is an hour session, at least an hour session before we go even deeper. So what is it? I mean, some of you probably know, but I'll just say it anyway. So I think it came from America, like these kind of things do. You know, if you're in the elevator with your big boss and you're trying to make a good impression, you've got 60 seconds from the ground to the top floor to tell him or her what you do and make a good impression. So you get promoted, you get noticed for that promotion. That's kind of where it came from. But in my mind, your 60-second elevator pitch, this is your shop window. You are not here to list all of your services. I'm an accountant, I can do bookkeeping, I can do tax, I can do VAT, blah, blah, blah. It's just a list. You're not going to capture anybody's attention unless they specifically are looking for one. You're not going to capture their attention by listing your services. What you want to do is grab their attention for the right reasons. You want to be memorable, especially on this world of Zoom, because it's really hard to be memorable. There's so many distractions going on behind us. You want to be memorable for the right reasons. It's the hook that they're going to think, oh, do you know what? That sounded quite interesting. I'm quite intrigued. I'm going to book we call them one-to-ones. I'm not sure what you call them over there, but we call them one-to-ones, where you agree to have a meeting with each other for 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, just to find out about each other. It's just kind of an introductory, you're not there to sell, you're there to learn. So the hook is to generate that one-to-one meeting. And it's all down to the power of storytelling. I love this topic. Storytelling is really important. We don't remember a list of things. Well, maybe you do, I don't. My brain is quite creative and I can't remember a list of things. Give me a good story and I'll remember all the stories, even the most random ones. So how do you incorporate a story into your 60 seconds? And I go really deep on that in the program. We talk about what your stories could be, because they must be genuine stories. Obviously, if you are dealing with confidential things, you need to tell the story without compromising your clients, obviously, but there's a way to do it. So, you know, the 60 seconds is your introduction. It's you, who your business name is, and then it's quite a lot weighted on the storytelling. It's all about the emotions of your client, because people buy on emotion. So I think it's the right-hand side of the brain works 3,000 times faster than the left-hand side of the brain. The right-hand side of the brain is the emotions. The emotions work 3,000 times faster. Our rational brain then rationalizes why we need to make that purchase. I mean, I don't have an iPad, but when they first came out, I really wanted one. I didn't need one, but they just looked lovely. So my emotions were going, you really need it, Alison. I'm sure you can work a lot faster. I'm sure your work will be far better if you had an iPad. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't have made any difference whatsoever. And I did really fight against my emotions because they were so expensive at the time. It was years ago when they first came out. So when we're doing our 60-second elevator pitch, it's the emotions that we put into the stories. But they need to be genuine, authentic stories. Because if you're delivering your 60 seconds, it's got to come, you can't see my heart, but it's got to come from the heart. Your emotions, your passion will come through in the delivery of your 60 seconds. So there's quite a bit we talk about on that one. And also in addition to that is, and this is what I'm working on as well, is how do you get your 60 seconds into 6 seconds? It is possible. Because I don't know if you know people in your community, whether it's your personal or your professional community, and somebody in your community is known as the back man. He fixes your back. He's a chiro practitioner, really. Or the software, the accounting software I use is Xero. We have got a Xero queen in our community. So if I come across somebody and they say, oh, I'm really struggling with Xero, I'm like, oh, you need to speak to the Xero queen. I'll pass you over. So how can you get known in your community as just something so simple and so easy that the people who are making the referral don't have to think about your 60 seconds because they won't remember everything, but they will remember the 4, 5, 6 seconds that you are known for. And that is you creating that. You're not fibbing, it's all genuine. You are creating that for yourself and then rolling it out in your community. And it may be that somebody has actually called you, whatever name it is, or the spreadsheet king or the process queen, I don't know. Just think about what people already call you or refer to you as in your community. And then see if you can drill it down even further. You know, I've had some really challenging, I've dealt with quite a few ex-military who obviously can't talk about anything. And they're trying to get into Civvy Street. And they're like, I don't even know what to say, you know. So we have come up with stories which were real, but did not compromise them in one way or another. It was quite tough because obviously they couldn't tell me, could they? So it was like trying to drag these stories out because it was confidential and I didn't want to know because I didn't want to be compromised either. I was like, no, don't tell me. I don't want to know because then I might get tortured somewhere along the line, being a bit of a drama queen. So that is the power of your 60-second elevator pitch. It's really, really important. But also it's about your branding. You are your branding, whether you have your own business or you work for somebody else's business. And if you're out there networking and you are an employee of another business and you're out there networking, you are representing the business, but you are representing yourself as well. So if you're potentially looking for another job, and actually you've networked with some really good people and they say, oh, do you know anybody who's looking for a job? And you feel confident enough that they're going to keep it confidential. You can say, well, actually, maybe, you know, I am. Or sometimes I've done direct approaches to people in my network saying, you know, I really like you. I think you're really good at what you do. Are you looking to move jobs? Because actually I've got my client is looking for somebody just like you. So headhunting, you know, people can headhunt you. So it's really important as well. You are your branding. So always be on point if you can. Be prepared. Oh, that's another bit I haven't even talked about. Networking, you need to have a plan. You need to have a purpose. And there's got to be some reason for going there. And you need to follow it up as well, which we talk about. Because the big mistake I made was I'd go networking. I'd have a, you know, once I knew what I was doing, I'd have a lovely cup of coffee, have a good chat with people. Oh yes, all very lovely. I'd get back to work and I put the delegate sheet in the drawer. Didn't do anything with it. Now, how far was that going to get me? Wasn't very strategic, was it? Didn't even book any one-to-ones because I was too busy. But it's like, it's the usual example, isn't it? If you join a gym, you pay for your membership every month, and you think, right, I'm going to go to the gym because I need to build my upper body strength. And that's my purpose for going. And you may go a few times, and you may go on the bike because it's a bit easier than doing the weights. And then you might go on the treadmill because, oh, it's a bit hard work, isn't it, doing that upper body? And then you might miss a few sessions because actually you're a bit busy, and yeah, the cleaning the car is more important than going to the gym that day because you really can't be bothered. And that's the same for networking. Really drill down to why you want to go. And it could be a combination. You know, I've met people who go networking because they work on their own. They don't have any family around them. They're single and they get really lonely. They live in a rural community and there's not much going on. So they simply go networking for a social, to get to know people. That's it. And that's fine. That is their purpose and that is their expectation, that they're just going to have a chat. And they tell people this, and they do referring actually, but that was their main expectation of it. So we go into that as well. What's your plan? What's your purpose? And then the final little bit I wanted to talk about, see, there's so much to talk about on networking. Sorry, I get very passionate about it because it's my favorite topic, is your fears and your barriers to networking. And when I'm coaching mainly the bigger businesses who are putting their staff through networking. So I had a HR client, lovely HR team, but she said, I want them to go networking to get more sales. And I'd been networking with some of her ladies. And they're like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm not a salesperson. I'm a HR, rah, 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 having a bit of a moan. I thought, we shouldn't really be moaning to me, but I think they felt they could confide in me. And I didn't relay that back to their boss because their boss was lovely and I didn't want to dob in her employees. I said, well, maybe you could do with some help. So once they understood, actually, going networking for them, they're going to learn something that day because there's usually a guest speaker. They're going to learn something which potentially they could share with their clients. So it's a way of keeping in contact with your clients for free, for giving, and not for selling. So learning that content for them, not only was it personal development, but it gave them credibility with their clients. And it's building up this credibility around you. But their barrier was, I'm not a salesperson, I'm not there to sell. And their fear was, this is when I love doing my face-to-face coaching and training. Oh, their fear was walking into that room full of strangers. Who do you approach? What are the signs? What do you do? And I love doing that training because that was me. I didn't like walking into a room. And I used to love teaching the escape and evade techniques. I'll just tell you this one, just in case you're out networking and you get stopped. It's, our fears are, we're going to be sold to, and how do we get away? I mean, we're very British, aren't we, in this country? We don't like to be rude to people. So it's, how do you escape when somebody's really trying to sell to you and you don't want to be rude? So what I would encourage them to do is say, oh, thank you, it's been really lovely chatting to you here. I'm very aware that you need to meet some more people as well because you've got a good business or whatever they've talked about. Don't lie, be genuine. Why don't we go and join that group over there? So you take them with you to a larger group, say, oh, hello, everybody, can we join your group, please? And then you turn to the person the other side. And that way you've got away from them without being rude and pass them over to somebody else. Oh, there's other techniques as well, but I call that my escape and evade techniques, I suppose, from working with a bit of the ex-military as well. And then the other thing that I used to like, I quite like doing, I'm giving all my secrets away here, but that's fine because you're going to learn them anyway, was if there's somebody in particular that you want to speak to and you can't get to them because everybody wants to talk to them, what I would do is watch where they put their jacket or their handbag, because we'd be sitting down. So even if I was talking, I'd say, oh, I'm ever so sorry, my coat's a bit heavy or my handbag's a bit heavy. Just wait there a second. I'll be back in a second. Wait for me. And then I would put my bag down next to where that person was sitting, or put their coat. So I knew when I sat down, I'd be next to them and then I could have a bit of a chit chat because I knew I was never going to get to them before we were sitting down. So that was like another little top tip that I would teach my my clients. So there's so many things, but I understand the fears and barriers to networking, and especially online, especially in the virtual world. You know, there's a whole host of barriers. You know, what does my background look like? What if my house hasn't got a plain wall? What if I don't want people to see my room, my kids' photos? You know, there's all sorts of barriers. What if somebody comes barging through the door and interrupts me while I'm on a Zoom call? There's so many things. I don't want to be on camera. You know, I was presenting at it was a regional bookkeepers association, and by the sheer nature of them, they're quite introverted. And there was 20 in the room. There was only me and the chair lady with our cameras on. That was quite early on in COVID. I was like, oh, I've never presented to a room full of blank screens. So I like to have a bit of a joke sometimes. When, is anybody still there? Have you all gone? Am I just talking to nobody? So a couple of them put their screens on, went, no, we're here, but we just prefer the screen off. So I like to teach people the confidence to have the camera on, to and I've done a lot of this training over COVID, is Zoom etiquette. You know, looking at the screen, not being distracted. You are, thank you, Ro. I can only see three people on the screen. And it's having that interaction and understanding actually how to use Zoom to its best effects. How to use the chat box, which I haven't got open, so I've no idea what's going on. How to use the chat box, and how to, you know, you are still on point, you still are on brand when you're in the room on Zoom. And there's a lot of barriers to that. And I understand, you know, I was like everybody else. I was like, oh no. You know, and you obviously been a bit girly now. Apologies to the guys in the room, but I'm like, oh God, my hair looks a bit weird today. But actually you can turn your own camera off so you can't see your face. Because if you're in a networking room physically, you're not looking at yourself, are you? And getting distracted by that bit of hair that's gone the wrong way. And yeah, not that it matters, but it's distracting, you know. Are you with me there? Some of you, I can see some faces laughing there. And it's all these little things, isn't it? And I find if people are quite extroverted, it's quite difficult trying to have a voice on Zoom at networking events, which is where breakout rooms are really good. Or for the introverts, I know a lot of introverts who are loving it. They're loving the Zoom world because they don't have to say anything. They can keep quite quiet. We've got some nods going on there as well. But it's about having your voice and showing up. And, you know, it takes time. You're never going to learn it straight away. It takes time. But it's like, but each baby step is a building. Yeah, it's building the foundations. And no way in a million years would I have said I would be doing this as a job 25 years ago. Not a cat in hell's chance. No way. I was so shy. I never would have thought I'd be doing this. But once I learnt what I was doing and just seeing the results of how it can help people with their confidence, that's what drives me. That's the purpose and the plan. So that's just a really little whistle stop tour. I have got a screen with our program overview, just for you to have a look at. Obviously I've had my 30 minutes now. Let me just pop that over. So 12 months, we go quite deep on all of these. That's the list there. If there's other bits and pieces that people have questions on, we can, you know, I can incorporate it into that. You know, there's an awful lot of stuff, but it's all manageable. It's all very practical. I'm a practical person. It's all practical tools and techniques which you can take away and implement. You know, everybody can do this. It's just having the confidence and knowing what to do and just trying it, and then having little quick wins. You're like, oh, actually that worked really well, or actually maybe that wasn't my style and I'll do it a slightly different way. And it's just building up those techniques and having the confidence, and then I'll be there and Michaela will be there to help and support you going forward. Yeah, so there we go. That's the overview of our program content. Do you want me to stop sharing now?
No,
Yeah,
you sound really great. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, stop the screen.
Yes,
I'll do the
you can
stop. I've got to
screen.
touch my
Thanks very
screen.
much, yeah.
There we go.
Well,
yeah, so
thank
there
you.
we go. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's there's so many things I took away from that, just from this. And I think it's going to be very useful program, and that list of the different elements that are going to be composing the program. One of the things that Alison's been doing for many years is one-on-one coaching on this for individuals. And what I did ask her is to start, using the group element, because there's so much that skill that she has that, like the simple one about the jacket. I mean, that's pretty that's pretty cool, and handbag. I asked her to compose something that we could learn from an advisory point of view in a group format. I also said that I know this thing is an ongoing thing. It's not, you can't confine it to 3 months or 6 months, because you're just going to want to come back to it consistently over time, so that you can continue to home in and practice. So that's why we said let's stretch it out. There'll be 2 sessions a month, each one an hour long. So each one of those topics that Alison was going through, she would really just dive into very specifically, and then give us time to converse and talk about any of our experiences that we have. And knowing Alison, she'll probably give you homework to go away with, so that you build up this rapport and capability of that. So that's the idea in terms of the time span. It's one of those that once you feel confident, you can jump out. But trust me, I know this thing. I'm way older than a few people here, and I can tell you that even up to this point, I'm still trying to figure out some of these elements. So thank you very much for that, Alison. The other thing I wanted to say was, and then we can just open it up for questions quickly, was I can see the power of this over time. I was just saying to Alison before you all came on, I actually married somebody who the power of her networking skill is just unbelievable. My wife networks like, and Dombi who's here will confess to this, like she works the room, she takes business cards, Masidi, so you know this too. But what's happened over the many years is that she's become a highly dependable source for all sorts of people to come to her and ask to utilize her network. So, you whenever you need something, you just think, oh, let me ask her, because she's established that very thing that you were talking about, Alison, those relationships over time. And it's been a give and take that has been established, and therefore has been really, beneficial to us. So I understand, and I can see the power of successful networks. So just some more on the program. So the program, we are going to start in January. We're looking at the 7th of January, and we will send that out to everybody that's on the program now. The program is going to cost 350 rands a month for 2 sessions in a month. That's like giveaway pricing. I don't know if Catherine's still on. I think she's come off, but for those in the UK, that works out to like £1. No, it's 18. I think it's £18 somewhere around there for anyone who's in the UK. So I think it's an invaluable program that will add a lot of benefit in terms of the skill of networking to everybody. So and to those already who are on the Value Ed course, we'll have a conversation in terms of how we work it out in terms of patrons and all that. We do have patrons who are always willing to sponsor people onto programs that they believe are beneficial to them. So if we've got hands up for value, we just need to go in and find some good patrons to support the program. So that's it from my end. I do recommend it. Are there any questions for Alison? Not me, Alison.
Yes, I've got a question. Sorry,
Great,
you can
Ralph.
go first.
Oh.
No, who was that, Ralph? Yeah, I think it's you, Ralph.
Okay, I was first. Great. Alison, I still want to do your one-on-one or group, whatever, your that 60-second elevator pitch. How do we book you for that? But anyway, that's my question.
Not very good,
you don't have to answer it now.
Sorry, your connection wasn't very good. I missed what you said. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I still want to definitely do your 60-second elevator pitch 1 hour session. So at some point I need to book that with you. How do we go about doing that? Is there a set, do I just contact you separately, or can we incorporate it into this program, or how will that work?
I can contact you through the next advisory level board, so I can do that. I don't know how we're going to work that with Vikella. Sorry, this light's gone really weird in my eyes.
No,
I've got
that's
a website. Yeah, maybe we can talk about that and then send a link out.
Thank you.
yeah. So I think where they are one-on-ones, Ralph, specific, because Alison does do one-on-ones, and that's a completely. By the way, that cost is not. That's a different cost. That's the one you're going to have with Alison.
Yeah,
If you
sure.
want to have a one-on-one specific session with her, I'm sure she doesn't want to do that at
Sure.
£1. But yeah, but the 350 was for the group sessions. It will be incorporated in that. But even for
definitely, yeah.
anybody else that's here, if the way we sort of work within the context of Evaluate is that this would be the advisory session to give you the ideas, the concepts, the constructs, et cetera, give you that ability to enter into and understand. If there's a requirement for one-on-one sessions with any of our delegates or any of our guests or hosts, then that would be direct with them, because obviously that would be at a different fee and at a different cost.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'll send you a message, Rolf. Thank you.
Cool. Pumelelo's raised his hand. That's serious Zoom etiquette. He even raises the hand in the Zoom. Carry on.
You must be polite.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Alison. I have a question. So let's say you're networking, right? And you meet someone that is not necessarily in your field of expertise. How would you kind of build that relationship, since you're not really in the same circles, or you don't really share the same knowledge, so to speak?
Get to know, get them to explain their business, because you never know, they may have some clients or connections which are in your area of expertise, or you may have some people in your circle who potentially could need their expertise. So ask them, or my advice is, if you don't know what to say, ask the person about them and their business. And I would say, what do you love most about your job? Because their body language, they will chat about it, and then make a judgment call. So don't talk for any more than sort of 5-10 minutes to somebody. If you're having a good conversation, say, do you know what, this is really good, we've got so much to talk about, let's get a one-to-one in the diary. But I think it's a quick judgment call. Don't rule people out. I've had people rule them out going, oh, there's nothing to do with me. How do you know? That bookkeeper I met, I didn't know she was the chair lady of 60 other branches, and it was looking for a guest speaker. That was perfect for me. But if I'd have just thought, oh, she's just a bookkeeper, she's just set up a business, I know she's got no money, and I'd have ruled her out, I wouldn't have had the opportunity of chatting to her. So I would think outside the box a little bit. Think about, actually, I think it's like a bit of a game. What do they do? Is there any way it can connect into what I do, or take you out of it? Do they connect into the people who might find them useful? If there's no connection at all, then that's fine. Move on to somebody else. Obviously, take their details down and connect with them on LinkedIn. But I think it's just don't think so much like that. Think outside of the box would be my advice to you. And you'll get a feel for it. The more you do it, the more you'll get a feel for it, and you'll get really good at it. And the more people you know, the more you actually might need to have them in your community, because they would come in handy for more people. Okay, does that help? Lovely, thank you.
Hi, Alison. May I please ask a question? First of all, thank you very much for sharing your story. That was really, really great. Actually, so much insight. But my question is, how did you know that networking is your purpose, and it's basically what you want to do, and it's actually your passion? How did you get to the point where you realize that actually, wow, this is the job that I kill the most, so why don't I go for that?
Oh, it's been a long journey, I can tell you. I've been searching for my purpose for a long time. I'm like, I'm never going to find my purpose. Where is it? I've read all the books. I've talked to people. But so when I set up my business 2 years ago, I carried on doing recruiting. But all along, I said, if I had a magic wand, I'd teach people how to network. And then I found an old notebook, and I really like the cover of this notebook, and I always keep my notebooks. It's like a blue spotty one. And I found it because I was tidying up a cupboard the other day, and dated July, you can't see it, July 2011, the year before I closed down the printing business. I did a talk. I volunteered to do a talk at a networking event, which had 50 people. And I talked on networking, the do's and don'ts of networking. Because it used to annoy me, people going networking and doing hard selling. And I was never very good at being rude to people. So I would always get lumbered with the hard seller because everybody else knew how to escape, which is why I like teaching how to escape now. So I was doing the recruiting for a year, having my own business, but I was still teaching networking. And I think it was having the belief in myself. I mean, I did a lot of soul searching, having the belief that actually this is what I love doing. I love teaching. I love helping. And I always have done. And I can't remember I say to Vicella, I was reflecting on what I did as a child. I've got 2 younger sisters. There's 4 years between each of us. And I was always a teacher. Because I said to them, what did I play when I was a youngster? She went, oh, you were always the teacher bossing your sisters around, giving them homework to do. So that was really funny when you said. So I was like, oh, obviously this was in me somewhere, but it was, I'm always reading. I'm always listening to business books about finding your purpose. I read and read and read. Personal development. There's not a day that I'm not doing some sort of personal development on myself, which is when I started running the workshops for businesses. Do you know how I knew? I was running a workshop, and the light bulb moments were going off for these ladies. It was the HR ladies. They're like, oh my God, oh, I think I can do it. And that morning flew by, and I thought, do you know what? I'm getting paid to do this. And if I was doing this for free, I'd be just having just as much fun. So I think when you feel like that, that's when you found your purpose. And ever since then, I've not looked back. I'm like, yeah, do you know what? This is it. And I never thought I'd find it. It's taken me decades, decades of searching. But when you get lost in something. You what, sorry?
I'm saying I'm trying to help these young ones find it earlier, because they normally spend a lot of their lives denying it as opposed to looking for it because they know it.
That is so true. That is so true what you just said now.
They've got their parents telling them what they think they should be doing, and whereas very clearly they know what they should be doing. They just need to follow it and trust it.
Follow. Yeah. Trust. I would say trust your instincts. Have a good supportive network or group, whatever, around you, but actually think about what you get lost in, what you could do for hours and hours and hours. I mean, I could write about networking, talk about it for hours and get lost in it. So think about things that you do that you can just submerge in, get lost in. You think it's easy, and other people think it's really hard. If you think it's easy and you love it, well, that is your purpose. That is your purpose.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Do you know what you love then? Sorry.
Dombia, I think, has got a hand up. Doms?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much. It's been, like learning. I think people say that I'm good at networking, or I know people. I was going to say,
you are a networker.
People, I know a lot of people, and I'm not shy to approach anybody that everybody else is shy to approach, as long as that has a purpose. So if I need to approach somebody because there's a good reason behind doing that, I go for it. The shyness goes away. I'll introduce, I mean, I can even just call the president now, but I am a terrible salesperson. So I don't know, I need help, you know, to merge my, you know, networking skills or ability to approach people for purpose with I need to then build that or link it to business development, you know, to ensure that that ability or that purpose, because I think it's a purpose. I think God gave me this, you know, I've been like this since I was young. Even in my family, my dad, if he's stuck with something, he calls me, he says, can you help us with this? Because he knows I won't be shy to, you know, do something about it. But, you know, I have not earned, you know, like money from it, you know. I don't know how to explain. I think Uncle Vic gets me. You know, I would like this ability to be able to give me some, you know, monetary, or I'll be able to maybe run a business like you have done. I mean, you realize that it's a skill that you can actually make a career of it. So I am definitely signing up, Uncle Vic, for this one, because I need assistance, you know. I need
Well,
to
you got it.
refine this ability to make it work for me, not always for others. So like Uncle Vic's wife, people call me if they want something and somebody in a particular sector. They call me and say, Ntombi, do you know anyone in this sector? Even if I don't know anyone, I will spend time. I'll spend a good 2 hours and find the people that this person is looking for and give them the advice on even how to approach them. But can I please do it for myself, like Nje?
I was going to say, well, you're already helping people, aren't you? And I think with sales, and somebody said, you know, I ran a workshop for the local chamber, and they said, oh, it's a sales workshop. I went, no, I don't teach people sales. I teach people networking. They went, well, it's the same thing. I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to have to relinquish and agree that yes. So for selling, we're all selling. We all sell every day. You know, if you know, I looked at you and I said, oh, I really like your green top there with the yellow around it, for Machido's top. Hopefully I've said your name right. Love your top. Where'd you get that from? You'd be like, oh, do you know what? I got that from so and so. That's selling. You know, we're all doing it, but don't realize it until we're trying to sell our own services, and then we're like, oh no, can't sell. But it's about what is the solution? You're not selling, you're providing a solution. So you're trying to find out what their problem is, what their pain point is, how emotionally are they feeling? Are they feeling lost, isolated, don't know who to talk to? You can provide the solution. So think about the solutions you like providing, connecting people, researching them, things like that. So think about it backwards. This is what I help people with, and then think it through backwards, okay? And you're not there to sell to them, and the right people who connect with you will just want to use you anyway without ever having to do a cold call again, which was a hateful experience I went through. And it's about building up that, and it comes with experience, time served experience, and trying different things. But you will get there, definitely. Way quicker with Vikella's help, way quicker than I ever did, that's for sure. If I'd have met Vikella years ago, I might have been there 20 years ago, who knows. But you know, it's experience as well, isn't it? Does that help?
Thanks. Stacey, you
I just
had
have one more question.
Oh, who's got one? Oh, cool.
Just
okay.
one more.
Jump in with your
Yeah.
one more, and then we'll get. Stacey had a question.
Yeah, I just want to know how do you know and how do you avoid overselling a product? How do you know when you're actually overselling and you're starting to bore the person, and how do you avoid doing that if you are like in sales and you're trying so hard to push your sales, but you're just doing something wrong because you're just overselling it today?
Yeah, body language, you know, and I've done it as well. You know, their eyes start glazing over. You think, oh, I'm losing them, so you talk a bit faster. That's not going to work, is it? So read their body language, but sort of qualifying their need for it. So when you have that initial conversation, what is their pain point? What are they struggling with? So you find out the information. get a bit of background, and then actually when you talk about the product, you weave in, you know, you're going through this problem. Actually, let me tell you about this bit, because this bit will really identify and solve that problem. And actually ask them, you know, is that the right solution for your problem? You know, and get them to talk it back through to you. And also with kind of psychometric behavioral profiling, if you're, it's a bit hard to explain here, it's a bit of a lengthy topic, but if you're talking to somebody and maybe they're the business owner and they're very straightforward, very telling style, and you know, it's all about the targets and all this. If you go into so much detail to start with, you might lose them. All they want is the bullet points, a bit of a quick overview, and then ask them how they feel about the overview. Would you like to give me some more would you like me to give you some more detail about it? Or if you're dealing with somebody who's it's all about the detail, it's compliance, it's auditing, they will want all of the information. So it's kind of trying to figure out your potential client and how you think they want this information. If you get to the meeting and they start talking about their kids or the dog or the cat or something like that, then they're a bit of a relationship person. So let them have that chat, ask them questions, you know, let them feel they're getting to know you and build up that relationship first. But if they dive straight in, go with it, be prepped, always do your preparation. So it's kind of reading the situation and having two angles to come at, lots of detail or just some bullet points.
And I saw that on
If
your
you
list
feel
of
you're losing them, just say, actually, do you know what? I've given you a lot of information. Oh, sorry.
No. Sorry, it was me. I think there's a bit of a delay. So now I was going to say that in your list of some of the programs, that's actually included in there as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the things is don't forget to close the deal, because that's another thing. So that's a conversation. Big learning. Close. After a while, you got to say, hey, are we going to do this or not?
Yeah.
Stacey, sorry.
No problem. Hello, everyone. Alison, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's really inspiring to see how passionate you are about what you do. And I think from my side, I think you did address the core concepts of sort of how to get an elevator pitch together, because I think that was one of my concerns is in networking, you've got like this tiny bit of window space to really market yourself in a way that is authentic, but also actually has purpose in a way. So thank you for sharing that. I think I also wanted to know though is, are there any network specific platforms that we could look at to network apart from LinkedIn, where we could meet more people, chat, you know, and just kind of have informal interviews or chats with people?
I mean, LinkedIn is a great platform. You know, Facebook, I'm not sure in your country, but we've got in the UK, we've got networking. You can network 24/7 basically. So we've got a lot of Facebook groups where we've got women's only groups, like cappuccino clubs. They're called Bob's clubs, breakfast, business over breakfast. We've got loads. So potentially you could start looking on Facebook. And maybe some Instagram as well. I think the beauty of COVID and Zoom and everything, actually, you know, you could maybe dip into some networking in the UK. I mean, we've got so much, it's ridiculous, you know, ridiculous amount of networking groups there are. But you could maybe dip into them and try it and see what you think. But I'm not sure, do you have the Chamber of Commerce? Do they do any networking where you are?
Lots of chambers here.
There we go. We've got 52 chambers in the UK, but they do networking. So potentially maybe have a look at those. Get yourself a speaker slot if you want one, because that gives you so much more leverage in the room. But just start trying slowly, getting a feel for it. Not every group is right. You know, I've been to some and I've tried them a few times and I'm like, oh, I'm just not feeling it really. It's, you have to kind of use your instincts, but you've got to give it a good go as well. And because I'm used to it, I can tell kind of within the third or fourth session whether it's right or wrong for me. But you know, you've got to give it a good 6 months to bed in, really. So I would possibly look at the Facebook world, the Instagram world, and your chamber, because it's a business platform as well. I would have a look there. But you know, another topic, you know, networking doesn't just stop like this, because this is networking as well, isn't it? It's then people in the UK, we take photos of our Zoom meetings and we put it on LinkedIn. And everybody goes, oh, we had a lovely time this morning. We had Christmas jumpers on Wednesday because we were helping promote a charity. But then people tag each other in, and then you share it, and then you hashtag it, and then that's where your business starts to grow because more people see you. So your online networking dovetails with your physical virtual networking. So it's running the two in parallel with each other. But I definitely have a look at the chambers as well. Yeah, and if you want to have a look at some you know, ones in the UK, you know, you're very welcome to come over. It'd be lovely to have you all over once you got going. And yeah, and Quinton's putting a networking event on as well. Somebody else that we know, I feel like I'm a local now, that we know in the Next Level Advisory Board. He's putting on a networking if you wanted to pop along and have a look in there. So
I think the nice thing is that, well, two things. I think what Zoom's created is the ability not necessarily only to have face-to-face as networking, because typically in the past you'd had to actually have been somewhere to network, other than just maybe what you could do in LinkedIn. Now there's so many things going on online that you can network there. And to your point, in terms of one of the things I know you're going to cover is the etiquette of networking over Zoom and online. So you'll never, if you come online and you find a little corner and you switch off your mic and you go to sleep, you'll never, that's not the best networking skill. So absolutely. So I'm concerned about time, and I just thought to wrap up, a couple of things. I know Carabello's asked a question, are we going to have any face-to-face sessions anytime soon, Vic? We will, Carabello, at some point. We are hoping that Mr. COVID allows us to. Remember, the challenge that we have is size of group. So when we tend to do something, we do it slightly beyond the size number that, which has been increased now, but it was 100 people, but we will try those. As much as possible, we're trying to keep it this way because it's just a lot easier for everybody to come on from the comforts of where they are. And then as we progress, we will have the hybrid of occasionally throwing in some face-to-face. I miss it as well. And then you also asked the story is, do you need to, what was the last question you asked, which was something about being taken seriously, about how you speak. Should you speak in a particular way to be taken seriously? Well, I mean, I think I just think it's about, I think Alison, you talked about this, about being authentic as to who you are, but also understanding your audience. One of the interesting things about now is that there are 5 generations in the working place, right? So, you've got your baby boomers who still believe in wearing a suit and tie to come to the office. Ralph and I are the baby boomers. No, we're not, I'm joking. But you have different generations, and how you articulate and how you present. We went to a school where the teacher's name was the surname, right? Mr. So-and-so and Mr. So-and-so. The generation today, your teacher can ask you to call them by their first name. So one just needs to be cognizant and conscious of the audience that you're dealing with. Otherwise, you can wrap people up the wrong way if in that manner. And just to end off, I just thought, a couple of key points that I think would be really useful for part of the program that Alison would be having. She talked about that 6-second thing. I think that's brilliant, to reduce it from 60 seconds to 6 seconds and understand what's that one thing that people know you for. I mean, I wrote here the connector. I'm actually going to put that in everything that I do, so that when people are thinking of, connections, they think of me. I thought that was really, really good. I think the other thing about it is what you talked about, Alison, is about being deliberate. So networking is about being deliberate. It's not, and I know Prince is gone. It's not how many people you connect with on LinkedIn. It's about a deliberate interaction and connection, and why you're doing it. I think that was a big takeaway for me, because sometimes you just think networking for networking's sake, but you have to have reason behind it, as to why you're doing it. You're not just trying to amass enough. Actually, interestingly enough, back to the networker I know, my wife, she doesn't accept anybody on LinkedIn and Facebook who she does not feel it's going to result. So it's not about numbers. I'm always, hey, look, I'm 1,000 people, yay. She's like, well, how beneficial are they? And how are you? She interacts with them. So she only accepts people where there's actually a networking relationship established, as opposed to just a number on the screen about number of likes. So once again, Alison, thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to this program. Again, everybody should start in January. We are going to have 2 more of these overviews. So if you thought, oh, I heard that, but I want to hear it again, we'll let you know when the next date is. You're very welcome to come on board. And as I said, $350 for a program that runs over a month, twice a month with Alison, and engagement. And I think by after that, we'll all be very good at this game. So thank you again, Alison. Thank you, and thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you all. Thank you so much for your time.
Time's never on our side.
It's not. It's not. It's not. Okay. No, fantastic. Thanks very much.
Lovely. Have a lovely weekend, everybody.
Have a good evening. Oh yeah, it's Friday. Have a good weekend too.
No, bye everyone.
Bye everyone.
Goodbye.
Oh, Bravik,
Bye.
I see you sewing. I see you sewing. I see.
You see it.
Sewing.
Good.
I see the sewing. I see the sewing. No, everyone, have a good one.
Cheers, man. Cheers, cheers. Cheers, cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh,
Ntombi, are you still there?
up on the desk.
Maybe Ntombi's gone. So Ntombi is actually somebody who's in the value add, the one who says I do a lot of networking as well, but she wants to create it for herself. She's part of value add as well. She's one of the co-creators. So we had, I think, Ntombi and one other who popped off who's on there. So yeah, look, I was expecting 2.
That was excellent. What a good, thank you. That was such a good turnout. Thank you for organising that.
I think it's going to, I think if we give it the time it needs, I think this is going to nurture itself to be really, really good. And Alison, what I don't want you to be shy of is, you know, I don't know if I've told you the story about how I see the model of value add. We would like to play in the large advisory, predominantly online space, which is what we are doing now. But out of that will come, so one of the things I say to people is that when we are able to have contact, and it's going to be a little different for us, but we could do it when life's a little better, from the large advisory group. I mean, I see this group growing to 50, 60, whatever it is, plus. We then have seminars. Now, if you were here, I would say we run smaller seminars, which if you are a member of this group, it's cheaper. But if you're not, you know, where you are really for half a day running on a subject, you know, helping people very specifically. Here we have this sort of split share of me and you in terms of back-end commercial remuneration. When it comes to seminars, it's probably 80% you, because I'm probably the guy just giving the name tag because you are the expert, right? And then from there, it's the actual application and implementation in companies or with one-on-ones, which is 100% you. So this ultimately, you'll find people will flow out of this into, I want to see you one-on-one, and that's just 100% you. I always say that I never want to see the inside of a company again. So I'm happy at the advisory role, maybe 20% of I'll give the name tags at the seminars, but when they start saying, come help me in my company, then that's when I go, bye, Alison, see you later. That's you. Yeah. So when people want something really on a one-on-one like Ralph, or as it progresses, that's fantastic. That's something that really comes to your end and works well. We'll just fill up the sort of bucket on this side and hope, you know, people then need you on an individual basis that side. And obviously that's at your fee. That's when you charge the fee that you normally charge for that.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. Well, that was really exciting. I was expecting 2 people plus.
No, I
Glad
thought I
Catherine
knew
came. I didn't think she would. I don't even know her that
yeah,
well.
I knew there were 3 that registered, and please tell her that, because one of the things I think the advantage, particularly from the UK side point of view, is if they can get you on an advisory point of view on a larger scale, it's obviously significantly cheaper. But then if they take you on a one-on-one basis, then obviously they have to pay the cost that you come with,
Yeah.
on that basis. But
And
particularly,
if people, oh, sorry.
no, Karen.
I was going to say, if people want to join from the UK, because obviously that email went out, if they want to join from the UK, am I just going to charge them the same price?
Yeah. So what I did was on the, oh, I haven't shown it to you. No. Okay. Yours is coming. I've just finished the networking one, the retrenchment one. So what I've done for this one is on the, if you go into the website and you click on it, on the website, I've put both the rand price and almost the equivalent of the pound price.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, I just thought you're gonna get the clever clogs who goes, oh, why is it that cheap in South Africa and then the exchange rate is 20 and you're making it like 10 times for us? So I didn't want that sort of idea. And the other thing was, I see this as a platform for how do I get to know Alison? What is this networking thing about? So if you've got like a Ralph who already, okay, maybe you might not know, but already pretty understanding about what he needs, and he's coming to you already at that level and saying, cool, this is what I need, then that's an individual thing. But I like to see this as an entry level for companies, even in the UK, to say, hey, find out about networking, because out of that you're going to get the one-on-ones. That's the way I'm hoping it'll create such a sausage that you're going to have so many people coming on one-on-ones, because invariably what's going to happen is that I'm going to have a need for myself. So in everything that we do, even we've got a social media branding one that I do with somebody, and we talk about social media and personal branding broadly. But if you want to have your own personal media and social branding, then you go there. But usually a lot of the clients that we're getting are people who are going, yeah, but what is social media and personal branding and why do I need it? And I was one of those, right? I've completely changed my profile on, if you Google Vikela Rankin, it didn't look like that 6 months ago. So I do appreciate that there are people who wouldn't jump into a high convoluted personal fee if they don't, that's my wife, if they don't, oh, sweetie, babes, meet my wife now.
Yay.
So if they don't understand what the subject matter is, right, or what it meant, I think out the people coming out of today are like, oh shucks, I didn't know that. That's the kind of clientele we want here, the ones that that you want to be able to say to them, even in the UK, hey, look, if you want to know more, and join this group, so that it doesn't become an additional cost for you where you've got all these individual things that you're doing. Join this group and you'll learn more. And maybe halfway through it, they'll say, oh, hang on, babes. Sorry. Sorry, I'd locked myself in the office because the wind was blowing this door open all the time. Come meet Alison. She's been wanting to meet you for a while.
Hello.
Alison, this is my wife.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
This is
I'm
the other
really
little...
good, thank you. How are you? Oh, hello.
Good,
These are the Rankins. Alison and I are on that next level
Oh,
both
yes,
thing on a
yeah.
Friday.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
Alison is the one who's going to be running the networking
Oh, that's
program.
oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
So we've just finished an overview now.
Oh, great.
Where she had like 14 people on. It was like, wow.
Oh, geez,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
And I hear you are the
telling
queen
her
of
about your
networking as
networking
well.
skills. I was telling her that
He's
this is
been
the networker.
singing your praises. Yeah.
Yeah, no, lovely to meet you.
And you too. You too. It's nice to meet a fellow networker. I like your necklace.
She can be the guest speaker on one of our on one of the ones when she can come
No,
and
but
talk
you know
about.
I hate speaking.
No,
Right?
wow.
I'm not a, you know, I try, I'm one of those that work in the background.
Oh no.
And I do the one-on-ones very well.
She does the networking
Yes.
like a lion,
Yes.
but when she coming to talk about it, she doesn't know yet. Okay, no, cool.
That's fantastic. No, great. No, lovely to meet you, Alison.
Oh, it's lovely to meet you. It's lovely to meet you.
Okay. All right, great.
Have a lovely
Bye.
weekend. Take care. Bye. Bye.
So yeah, so let's use this as the platform to try and get the doubters, the uncertainties, the unsurers, the, you know, and let them come in at a price where they go, that's reasonable. Let me hear that out. And then out of that, you know, and the way I probably thought about it is as the group grows, well, we'll think about it as it progresses, because I think what we can do is I can see us upscaling, right? I can see us going, okay, the group's fairly large. We're going to make smaller groups where it's more detailed, maybe because we don't have the seminar capability, where the price is now a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Because it's maybe groups of 20s or whatever the case may be, until it gets to that one-on-one stage. But the earlier, there's a large group of people, particularly here, that we're trying to cater to, who sort of need a palatable price entry point, but it's so necessary for them.
Yeah, it's the start of their journey, really, isn't it? In more ways than one. Yeah. Because I was going to set up a membership group in January anyway, in the UK.
Yeah.
And what I was going to do is like a teach on there once a month, then bring in like a LinkedIn expert, or, you know, once a month I was going to have an expert in there. And I was going to have a charity to talk about how well they do through networking, you know, all sorts of things. And I thought, do I actually need to do that now? The price point was obviously going to be a lot higher, but I thought, do I need to do that? Shall I just stick with this, which was going to be my accountability, which didn't happen this morning. Stressing me out, that was this morning. I'm like, yesterday I wasn't doing it. Today I am. I was supposed to be doing my accountability.
Oh, you got out of it then.
I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Are you practicing or not? I've got an extra week now because you did yours so well. I thought, oh God, hard act to follow.
No,
so yeah, my thing was, do I do my own group membership group, or actually
but by the way,
that on the head and stick to yours?
I was going to say, don't remember that. Yes, if we can get that, you will have in your category of people in the UK also different layers, right? So if there's a price point you want to go in at online for people in the UK, that's fine. I don't think you should not do that. You may have a situation where you may have that price point doesn't reach everybody who needs networking, and then you can use this price point. You can say, hey, I've got this group, it runs in the UK, it's called X, right? And here we're going in at whatever it is, £100 a month or whatever it is. But, and this is what we do, et cetera, and this is what the offering is. But there's a larger group where you're probably going to get a little bit more watered down, but get a bit of the gist, which is at £30 or £20, whatever it is, I can't remember what it was, that you can go on. So I wouldn't not have your one,
like 16,
which you can price it up, because you're not going to get a lot of South African. This is sort of geared at South Africans, with hopefully some British people getting on board. That one would be geared on with British people, where you may not get South Africans, because they're going to times it by 20, whatever you price. And they go, oh, so then you've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure, and I thought, well, I don't want to mix it up. I need to have enough time and energy to dedicate to this, because I've committed to this. I'm really excited about doing it, especially because it is people who are new to the journey who can identify. So I thought, I'm not quite sure now. I don't know what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing, but I'm I wasn't quite sure which direction to go in and whether I could run both at the same time. But I think.
But think about it, and then we can see. Maybe we give this 2 or 3 months, and then. But think about it. I don't see.
Yeah.
I think it's two different markets offering the same thing, but you know, I don't think it's a major train smash.
No. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. All right, then that's food for thought. Thank you for that. Yeah, super.
No problem.
Well, thank you so much for organising it. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Have a lovely weekend. It's quite late there now, isn't it?
7 o'clock.
What time is it?
Just in time for a pint.
Gosh.
There we go.
Just in time for a pint. I've got to get to the post office before it closes at 5:30. So I'm on 5 to 5. It's only 5 minutes in the car, so it's not too. If I had enough time, I would have walked, but I can't be bothered now. It's like pitch black outside here.
Oh geez, yeah. Same as
Lovely.
you.
Okay. Is it this? Do you want me to do the same again at the next one?
Yeah. I think we'll set up an. I think I've got the date. The lady who does the posters will come over. We'll create them. I actually did something different on this poster. We just realized that, and you probably noticed, we put the price on it because somebody said something very interesting, that don't forget that when you have a program or a course, people have their own perceptions of how much it's going to be. So it might determine whether or not they come on board. And we're not using price because we're so palatable and at a very reasonable price, we're not using that to our advantage. So that's why I thought, oh shucks, let's do that. Let's try that and see what happens. And that's what we'll do moving forward.
Good idea. Okay, right. Well, I'll see you at the next. Well, I'll see you next Friday.
Yes, next
Have
Friday.
a nice weekend. Yeah.
You too.
Take care, Vic.